Welcome to the city of New Orleans, where in 2 weeks, the Final Four begins here at the Superdome to crown college basketball's national champion, the best of a starting field of 64. And this afternoon, here at the historic New Orleans Fairgrounds, ESPN starts on the road to the thoroughbred Triple Crown of 1993. Right now, there are 342 three-year-olds nominated in our championship bracket, including those that test themselves here today in the 68th running of the Louisiana Derby. The road to college basketball's ultimate prize ends here in the New Orleans Superdome the night of April 5th. For the thoroughbreds, New Orleans marks the halfway point of their classic season on the trip to racing's ultimate prize, the Kentucky Derby. And welcome to one of the great treasures of American racing, the New Orleans Fairgrounds. They've raced here since 1872, making it the third oldest track in the nation. In this, its 121st season. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to New Orleans in the 68th running of the Louisiana Derby on a blustery, rainy day here in the state of Louisiana. This is, for us, the start of 5 consecutive weeks of prepping for the Triple Crown. Let's take a look at our schedule. The next 4 weeks, we'll be at Turfway Park, Northern Kentucky, for the rich Jim Beam Stakes worth $600,000. Then on to Oklahoma for the Remington Park Derby. Then the Bluegrass Stakes in our Oaklawn Handicap Show, and the Arkansas Derby from Oaklawn Park. But our focus today is on our first leg of our Triple Crown preps, the Louisiana Derby. And it was just 1988, just a few short years ago, that a double classic winner came out of this race. Here it is, the 1988 Louisiana Derby. And on the inside, between horses coming now, is the local legend, Risen Star. Risen Star will go on to run third in the Kentucky Derby, win the Preakness, win the Belmont, and the son of Secretariat clinched the $1 million Triple Crown bonus that year for Louis Russell and Ronnie Lamarck. Now, 5 years later, his son, O-Star, shown here, winning an allowance by 10 lengths at the fairgrounds, comes back in his first crop of three-year-olds. Risen Star, now a stallion at Walmack International. The weather today, good for pigeons and ducks, and that's about it. Maybe horses as well. Light rain this morning, got heavier this afternoon, tapering off a bit now, but the racetrack listed as sloppy. The Louisiana Derby is coming up next from New Orleans. ESPN presents Budweiser Racing Across America. Brought to you by Budweiser. Nothing beats the excitement of horse racing, and nothing beats a Bud. By the Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority. King Cobra, the king of oversized irons and woods. Oversized confidence, oversized power. And by Doubletree Hotel. 1-800-222-TREE. It's a smart call.
My brother, about to become a father.
So how big can a crib be? Season tickets went on sale today, Mike.
Yeah, well, maybe next year.
We've gone 5 years straight.
Yeah.
Is this about the kid? This kid's getting for free, you know.
It's gonna be a little tight.
Mike, this year's on me.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Now, the new little guy's going to every game, right? Bobby, it could be a girl.
A girl.
All over America, a new idea is taking root. It doesn't make sense to pay the price of other luxury hotels when you can get all the same great things at a Doubletree and still be everywhere you want to be. Doubletree Hotels. It's a smart call.
You can have a great beef dinner in no time at all. Well, almost no time at all. Beef. It's what's for dinner.
What kind of horse runs at Turfway Park? Horses like Winning Colors, one of only 3 fillies to ever win the Kentucky Derby. Hansel, who won the Jim Beam Stakes out here before going on to win both the Preakness and the Belmont. Alashiva won his first race at Turfway, then went on to win more money than any other horse in history. The racing just keeps getting better and better. And the better the horses out there, easier it is to pick a winner right here.
Nominations for all other stakes on Jim Beam Day close Wednesday, March 17th.
Vision, power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
ESPN welcomes you back to the fairgrounds in New Orleans on a gray, rainy Saturday afternoon for our coverage of the Louisiana Derby. Let's set our race conditions. This is a Grade 3 event. A mile and a 16th, the richest in its 68 runnings, up $100,000 from last year, $300,000. The winner gets $180,000. The distance, a mile and a 16th. The racetrack again listed as sloppy. Well, now to meet the field, and a big one it is for this year's Louisiana Derby. Let's join my colleagues Tom Durkin, voice of the Breeders' Cup, and our handicapper, Bob Newmeyer.
All right, Chris Lincoln, thank you very much. Remember when you were a kid and your mom and dad gave you one of those giant jigsaw puzzles with about 500 or 600 pieces, and it took you about 6 weeks to put it together? Well, that's the way I look at this year's Kentucky Tour. I think it's going to take me about 6 weeks to get a fix on this year's crop.
Well, that's this year, but last year at this time, people were less concerned about the results of prep races in America leading up to the Kentucky Derby than they were about getting any kind of information out of France, where the superstar Arazi was hidden away in a forest somewhere outside Paris. Any kind of news would have done. Did he jog yesterday, or did he walk? Did he get a good night's sleep? Did he have any hobbies? Stupid stuff like that, because he was just the only story last year, and that's not the case this year.
Oh, not at all. And I think all the Mr. Negatives are out there is already screaming, this is a lousy crop of 3-year-olds. But I think it's fun. It's exciting. And I know we're going to unearth a few gems in the next 6 weeks as we lead our way to Louisville, Kentucky.
All right, well, let's see if there's any gems in this field of 13 for today's Louisiana Derby. Dry Bean drew the rail. Offshore Pirate, one of 4 California invaders. O-Star, son of local racing icon Risen Star. An apprentice, highly touted. Today will be the first time he's ever gone off at odds of higher than 4 to 5. Dixieland Heat will be the morning line favorite. Toss of the coin, and his regular partner, Chris McCarron. Classy Envoy, a New York-based colt. Lord of the Bay, trained by one Charles Whittingham. Crafty Digger, a local long shot. Rockamundo making his 3-year-old debut. And the quick-footed Californian Crafty is number 11, and a pair of local long shots comprise the mutual field, Magisterial Tune and Masters Windfall.
Use the term local. 7 of these 13 have already been at this racetrack in the split division of the Risen Star Stakes. We're going to look at the favorite. His name is Dixieland Heat. He's unbeaten, 4 for 4. This is the faster of the 2 divisions. Positives on this horse: he's a big stretch runner in a race today, overwhelmingly loaded with speed. The negatives are he has a tendency to lug in, and he ran this big race, first-time Lasix. Can he repeat it today, Tom?
Here's the other division. The eventual winner, Dry Bean, down on the rail. Apprentice, the second-place finisher alongside him. Grand Jewel is that horse that on the outside will finish 3rd. Watch Dry Bean jump a tire track here. Whoops! And despite that, Apprentice still couldn't get by him. This race proved 2 things. One, that Dry Bean is a very determined colt, and that Apprentice needs to improve a little bit, and toward that end, he will run with blinkers for the first time this afternoon.
Of course, 7 of the 13 have the home course advantage here at the fairgrounds, but we have 4 from California and 1 from New York. A big, bulky field. A little tricky to negotiate this mile and a 16th course here at the fairgrounds.
13 horses going into that first turn. It's not much of a run going into the first turn here, which is pretty sharp. This is the 3rd oldest racetrack in America, so they've been around this oval a few times over the years. Long run down the back stretch. The far turn is sharp as well, but the real story here at the fairgrounds is the length of the stretch. 2nd longest in America. In fact, it's 112 feet longer than that very ample stretch at Churchill Downs.
So which one of these Baker's dozen 3-year-olds is going to make that big splash towards the first Saturday in May? We think there's 7 or 8 that have a legitimate chance to win.
We're looking forward to it, and with us right now is the president general manager of the fairgrounds. This is Brian Krantz. His family took over the ownership of America's 3rd oldest racetrack some 3 years ago. And Brian, as you close your 3rd season on March 29th here, give us a little perspective of how things went this year.
Well, we've learned a lot of lessons in 3 years, and hopefully we've improved each step along the way. We've had some improvement in the purse structure this year due to some consolidation in the local area, and it's helped the racing quite a bit.
You, like the industry, are under a lot of pressure from outside sources like lotteries, casinos, video poker. In fact, the video poker machines are now here at the fairgrounds.
Well, those outside forces of competition are upon us, and things like video poker have to be adapted and used to the benefit of racing so that at the end of the day we can position ourselves for the future.
Let's talk about the future now for the fairgrounds.
Well, the future for the fairgrounds is brighter. As I said, there's been a consolidation of racing. We've had a local track close, and it's bolstered the purses here at the fairgrounds. And, you know, we just feel like that it'll attract new horses from outside and help local people reinvest in racing.
Some promotions work, some not as well. Your promotion today, Brian?
Well, although it's raining at the fair, although it's raining in the area, it's bright and sunny here at the fairground.
5,000 of these given away to the customers here at the fairgrounds today, where the sun always shines in New Orleans. We're going to go to the break now with some New Orleans jazz for you. Back with more of our coverage of the Louisiana Derby from New Orleans.
He ruled the ring for over a decade. He filled more arenas than Ali, Foreman, and Sugar Ray combined. And he's been crowned WWF champion 4 times. This April 4th, live on pay-per-view, the immortal Hulk Hogan returns. WrestleMania, live Sunday, April 4th on pay-per-view.
Next time you hear someone say they don't build cars like they used to, you can believe it. Today's cars are far superior in quality, comfort, engineering, safety, durability, you name it. Car buying is changing too. Dealers are working harder than ever to make sure you're satisfied. There's a new spirit, a new attitude. If you haven't visited a dealership lately, stop by soon. You'll like the new cars and you'll like the way you're treated. It's a whole new ball game. A message from the Pittsburgh Automobile Trade Association.
Year-old can stretch into a home run. The DeBartolo Triple. Up first on April 3rd, it's the $300,000 Remington Park Derby, a true Kentucky Derby prep in the heart of horse country. Your second at bat is the 59th running of the Grade 2 Ohio Derby. Third up is the Grade 1 $750,000 Super Derby at Louisiana Downs. All 3 races nationally televised on ESPN. Don't get thrown out of the plate. Go to bat in the DeBartolo Triple.
Vision. Power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
To win, you have to drive all night, fighting traffic at top speeds. See the finish of America's oldest endurance race, the 12 Hours of Sebring. Tonight at 10 Eastern, live on ESPN.
I'm Jim Kelly in Indian Wells Golf Resort. George Archer continues his torrid pace. Archer tied for the lead along with the man that made a big move yesterday, Ray Floyd, with a 7-under par 65. They're tied for the lead. Who will win? The final round coverage Sunday at 5:30.
There is Pete's Fountain. That's right, named after, of course, the famed jazz cornetist Pete Fountain here at the fairgrounds. And we'll hear from him later as he'll call our horses to the post for this coverage of the Louisiana Derby. So you mentioned this is the first of our 3-year-old Derby prep races, so we wanted to give you an overview nationally. The best person to do that is the co-editor of the Daily Racing Forum's outstanding features on Saturdays, the Derby Watch. Steve Haskins joined Bob Newmeyer earlier.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. All day long, we've talked about the inordinate number of legitimate contenders for this year's Derby. And Steve Haskin, I frankly don't know how you fit all of those horses on your Derby Watch page in the Racing Form.
Well, Bob, to show what a crazy year this has been, of the top 9 horses on our first Derby Watch, not one of them has won a race this year, which is absolutely incredible. Now what's happening is that we have this second wave of late developing horses coming through. And until these horses show what they can do and prove themselves, we just can't judge them yet.
I guess to show how volatile this is, you take a horse like Corby, who I know is 75-1 in the Vegas Future line, and all of a sudden now he becomes a favorite just because of one race.
Yes, well, I like Corby, and I always have. In fact, we've had him on our Derby Watch since day one. Anyone who saw his San Felipe has got to be impressed with him. He's a big, long-striding colt. He can run on or off the pace. He's bred to run all day, and he's improving with every race. I mean, what more can you ask for in a horse? We'll find out more on Monday or Tuesday if he runs in the San Diego Derby or the Bluegrass Stakes. Wherever he goes next, it should be very interesting.
And he's also owned by Alan Paulson, who has an ace up his sleeve, or maybe in this case we should say a queen, because it is a filly, Eliza, who was so impressive in the Breeders' Cup juvenile fillies. Will Eliza be in the Derby?
Well, if Corby does not run in the Derby, you can bet Eliza will. After last year's debacle with Arazi, Alan Paulson is determined to run in the Derby this year with anybody. And 2 weeks ago, Eliza made her first start in the San Diego Oaks, and it was absolutely awesome. I mean, when Pat Valenzuela lowered his hands on the far turn, she just exploded. It was the kind of acceleration you really like to see in a Derby horse. She did get a bit tired at the end, but that was to be expected. Unfortunately, she'll have to go in the Derby off just 2 mile and a 16th races and never having run against colts. That's a very tough task, and I think it's asking an awful lot of her.
Steve, I think we both agree that the results in Florida and here today at the fairgrounds in Louisiana will be changing what Steve Haskin has to say in the Derby Watch next week in your daily racing form.
Well, there come our Louisiana Derby horses making their way to the paddock. They'll be saddled inside today because of the inclement weather. And earlier this afternoon, there was a sloppy racetrack in South Florida for the $500,000 Grade 1 Florida Derby. Among the favorites there, the undefeated Storm Tower, Silver is Silver, and Living Vicariously. A 1 1/8 tester, Gulfstream. Let's pick up the Florida Derby at the half-mile pole now with Ross Morton.
The Heather is in between horses with Silver of Silver now beginning to make a move on the far outside. Gentle Patrick dropping back. And then we come back to Hidden Trick, 3/4 and 1:11 and 4. They're midway on the turn. Storm Tower now comes on to put a head in front. Great Navigator is alongside second. Due to Sligoville puts the run in third. Living Vicariously is fourth. Now as they come toward the top of the stretch in the Florida Derby, Storm Tower will lead it by 1.5 lengths. Charging through, Silver of Silver on the rail. On the outside, from the back of the pack, here comes Walinda with a big move. And in on the rail, Bull in the Heather moving through. And Bull in the Heather now comes on to take the lead. Bull in the Heather 1.5 lengths. Storm Tower is second, and Walinda was third. Kiss and Chris was fourth.
Well, change the Derby Watch page. Bull in the Heather at 25-1. Pulls off the big upset in the Florida Derby. He's a son of Ferdinand. Alberto Ramos was the jockey. Howie Tesher, the trainer. New York owner Arthur Klein. Storm Tower, the undefeated horse, the favorite, finishing second. And Walinda was third. The perfected 3-6. A Gulfstream returned $287. But a big upset in the Florida Derby. Ferdinand's son, Bull in the Heather, wins it. Well, we're looking for more introductions to our Louisiana Derby field. For that, let's join our conventioneer, Tom Durkin.
New Orleans is one of America's premier convention destinations. And whether you're a member of the National Association of Widget Manufacturers or a lodge member of the Knights of the Mystic Sea, sooner or later, your convention will wind up in New Orleans, and sooner or later, you will be wearing one of these dopey tags with your name on it. Dopey, yes, but they are practical because they allow you to be introduced to people who might not know your name. And with this group of 3-year-olds who aren't so very well known, we thought that name tags aren't such a bad idea. Meet Dry Bean, our delegate from the prospect-laden Loblolly stable. And you've gotta like a horse named after a saloon, especially one that's been victorious in 3 straight starts, including that track jumping effort in the Risen Star. Trainer Tom Bohannon certainly knows what to do with the Triple Crown Contender. Remember Pine Bluff? And he will equip Dry Bean with a shadow roll today to help limit the distractions. Originally from New York, but spending the winter in New Orleans, is Apprentice, runner-up to Dry Bean in the Risen Star after breaking through the gate prior to the start. Trainer Bill Badgett is also opting for corrective procedures for today's contest.
I think he just has to mature a little bit mentally more than anything. Physically, everything's right there for him. It's just he doesn't really keep his attention span very long in his races. He kind of gets in and out of his races, so we're going to put blinkers on him his next start.
Another New Yorker attending our Derby gathering is Classy Envoy, who stopped along the way to pick up a win in the Ocala Breeders' Championship. Classy Envoy apparently enjoys the travel, and if he likes New Orleans half as much as trainer Bob Barbera does, he'll do just fine. But the most popular attendee here figures to be a local guy, the undefeated Dixieland Heat, hero of the other Risen Star division. So far, the colt has impressed trainer Gerald Romero.
This horse here, from day one, he's a very agile individual. If you see him lope in the morning, he's like he lopes on air. I mean, he's kind of like a very free-going kind of horse. All his races have been pretty easy. He gets to the front and gets to lagging around. He's not a horse that I don't think will win very impressive very far, because he does everything so easy. After he gets in front, he kind of goes to loafing.
The job of keeping Dixieland Heat from loafing in the Louisiana Derby falls to Gerald's brother, Randy Romero. But getting them out wasn't as easy as you might expect.
Well, years ago, as a rider, he would take off to ride the better horses, and he took off a number of my horses to ride better ones. So when he called me to ride this one, I said, well, you remember all the times you took off my horses? I said, you know, payback is tough. I might have to call me a rider in.
Well, brotherly love held on there to get Randy Romero this mount. He is going to be riding the undefeated Dixieland Heat this afternoon in our 68th Louisiana Derby. As our horses make their way down the track here into the paddock, we'll be back with more of our coverage from New Orleans. Stay with us.
There was one thing about Bud that we kept hearing over and over.
Now that's fresh beer. Huh? Okay, let's say this is the original Budweiser brewery in St. Louis. There's another one in Texas.
And 2 more in Florida.
New York, California, New Jersey.
Over a dozen of them.
So Budweiser doesn't have to truck their beer clean across the country.
So you know it's fresh.
Right.
Is that my beer in New Jersey?
The Howard Johnson Golden Glades, providing a tropical blend of business and pleasure. Over 200 spacious guest rooms and suites with all the amenities you would expect from a first-class hotel. Our restaurant serves the best in American and Atlantic cuisine any time of day. Try our lounge, the perfect place to relax. Complete meeting and banquet space managed by a professional staff that lets you know we're glad you're here. The best in paradise. The Howard Johnson Golden Glades.
Start a project with Minwax Wood Finish and turn new into treasured, ordinary into extraordinary, even pine into cherry. Because Minwax Wood Finish makes it easy to turn any project into a beautiful masterpiece. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
If you like nutty, you'll love nutty milk chocolate peanutty a nutty bar for nutty times. Mr. Good Bar.
Make plans to attend Keeneland's 2-year-old in training sale April 13th and 14th. More than 150 horses will be sold, including 19 2-year-olds from the Francis Ginter Stable Dispersal. Stormbird, 49er, Deputy Minister, Fabiano are just some of the outstanding sires represented at the 2-day sale, held during Keeneland's exciting spring meeting.
Looking at a shot of the inside paddock here at the fairgrounds in New Orleans, where our Derby colts are getting prepared. 13 of them in there, and we will tell you the undefeated Dixieland Heat is already the odds-on favorite. And looking ahead on ESPN, we'll pick up our coverage of the 12 Hours of Sebring, the Camel Grand Prix of Endurance. That at 10 o'clock Eastern time tonight from Sebring, Florida. You'll see the finish of the endurance race there. Well, 4 West Coast shippers have come all the way to Louisiana to run in this Derby, which again points out how wide open the classic field is in 1993.
Well, Chris, I think that people are looking at the picture for 3-year-olds this year, and they're shopping for places to run. I think that this is the second level of California horses that have shown up here, at least at this point. And $300,000 is a lot of money. It's not that hard to get here.
Darrell Vienna's Offshore Pirate was among those 4 that flew in from California. Hall of Fame trainer Charlie Whittingham sent in Lord of the Bay. Lord A.V. Colt is seen here winning the rich Laurel Futurity on the grass last fall in wire-to-wire fashion. Toss of the Coin from Tom Bell's barn in California has the services of Hall of Fame jockey Chris McCarron, and he's been consistently running against colts with Derby aspirations. Most recently, third to Personal Hope, who is still high on the West Coast list of Triple Crown prospects. Crafty brings trainer Jerry Fanning back to New Orleans for the first time since the early 1940s. And he's still trying to find out where his 3-year-old fits in, even though he's already earned over $185,000.
Well, I think he's a cut below the good colts right now. I'm hoping he improves a little bit, but I'm not sure he's really a 1.125 or a 1.25 horse. He ran really good in the Florida breeders, but that was a 1.16 against Florida breds. But he's got a lot of potential, but he still has to develop.
Vienna's Offshore Pirate ran a strong second in the El Camino Real Derby and has never been worse than that place spot in 5 career starts. Working well here at the fairgrounds, Vienna thinks today's Derby is much like this year's Triple Crown, a wide open race.
there isn't a horse here that would surprise me if he won the race. I think they're very contentious. I think going into the race, my form's a bit better than the California horses, but just a bit. The local horse here, Dixieland Heat, hasn't done anything wrong. He's coming off a really good effort 2 weeks ago, and maybe it's been too much an effort for him. We'll see how good he is.
Well, just taking a quick look at the odds board. Offshore Pirate Del Vienna's right now the third choice at 5-1. And the horses I mentioned in the paddock, Bob Newmeyer has some observations. Bob?
Well, thank you very much, Chris Lincoln. You know, when we use the term apprentice, we talk about a young jockey that's inexperienced. And I think the name holds well to this chestnut colt that just walked by, number 4. He's by that hot young sire, 49er, because he's had a couple of excuses his last 2 races. He was fractious in the post-parade and the recently run Risen Star. But this is a horse the public has fallen in love with. 4-5 in his first race where he won at Aqueduct. 4-5 where he won an allowance known as a one other than. 3-5 where he was defeated by Dixieland Heat in the LeConte. And then he was 3-5 when he was beaten by Dry Bean. But today, it's put up or shut up time for this horse out of the Green Tree Stables. He worked out in 113-1. He has the blinkers today. He has his regular rider, Craig Perrette. He's a horse that I know Billy Badgett Jr. thinks has enormous promise. There he is walking by, 49er out of Young Ballerina by Nijinsky. He's the horse to watch today. Can he put it all together? It's time for Apprentice to show what he can do. Chris?
Let's see how the handicappers here at the fairgrounds take a look at this field. Here are the current odds now. Dry Bean at 12. Offshore Pirate, you mentioned 5-1, the third choice. O-Star at 14. Apprentice at 7-2 is the second choice. The colt Bob was talking about. Dixieland Heat, since the odds went up, has been the even money favorite. Toss the coin at 11. Classy Envoy at 70-1. Low to the Bay, Charlie Whittingham's looks like quite an overlay now from California at 20-1. Crafty Digger at 35. Rockamundo 17. Crafty 45. And there's the field. You bet 1, you get 2. Magisterial Tune and Masters Windfall at a big price of 90-1. When we come back, Pete Fountain is ready to call him to the post, and we'll present the post parade of the 1993 Louisiana Derby when we come back to New Orleans on Budweiser Racing Across America.
Oaklawn invites you to its 1993 season. 62 days of the best in thoroughbred racing. The quality of racing that last year showcased Preakness winner Pine Bluff and Kentucky Derby winner Little E.T. as they dueled in the stretch of the Arkansas Derby. A record purse distribution of more than $12.4 million with a 24-race stake schedule brings the best horses to Oaklawn. Join us through April 17th in Hot Springs, Arkansas. At Oaklawn, you can be winning with flying colors.
Beans, you're gonna be okay. You just have to take it easy for a while. I know, because when I was a little kid, I hurt my knee too, like you. And Dad told me it's gonna get better.
How's that cough?
I'm fine, but Beans hurt his knee.
Here, I think this will make Tommy feel better.
Visit your local Health Mart for the special Living Healthy promotion with store-wide savings.
People buy homes, you know, it's an emotional experience.
And you have to understand what their needs are, you know, where the schools are, where the shopping is, put them in the right place so the children will be happy.
You can't go, oops, it's Sunday. When they're ready, you better be ready.
I have a pet peeve about people who don't return phone calls. So if you don't hear from me, you can rest assured I'm probably dead.
I just never give up.
Century 21, rated best at selling homes.
I will provide for my clients whatever I would do for just a good friend.
It's New Orleans tradition, good food and fun.
We're going to the races, everybody come on.
To the New Orleans Fairgrounds, it's the winning place to be.
Come have a good time with your family and friends. The party never ends.
Hey, y'all gotta come here.
The New Orleans Fairgrounds.
And all that jazz.
Vision, power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Check out the only sport where you keep your hands and feet in the air. The World Freestyle Championships, Thursday and Saturday on ESPN.
Patty Sheehan and Dawn Coe-Jones tied for the lead in the Standard Register Ping after 3 rounds. Join us Sunday for final round coverage at 3:30 Eastern Time. Can Patty Sheehan make her way into the Hall of Fame?
With a sloppy racetrack on a rainy day in New Orleans, Budweiser Racing Across America welcomes you back to ESPN's coverage of the 68th running of the Louisiana Derby. It's grade 3 and a mile and a 16th. $300,000. 13 3-year-olds are set to come out for the post parade. And to call into the post, New Orleans' own famed jazz clarinetist, Mr. Pete Fountain. Mr. Pete Fountain calling our 3-year-olds to the post. They're coming from the underground paddock area here on this rainy afternoon in New Orleans, and out they come now. We mentioned 13 in the field. Again at stake, $180,000 plus a chance to hit the Derby Watch page of the racing form. Everything wide open. You saw in the earlier coverage of the Florida Derby, Bull and the Heather, a 25-to-1 long shot winning there. And of course in California in the earlier prep races, they've had a different winner every week. It is a wide open 3-year-old picture, and we're going to start now to introduce you to the field for the 68th Louisiana Derby. The 1 horse is Dry Bean in the famed colors of Lob Lolly stable of John and Anthony, a $43,000 Keeneland sale purchase. Won a division of the Risen Star. He's undefeated as a 3-year-old. The rider, young Aaron Grider, has won titles at Hollywood Park and Churchill Downs. The 2 horse is Offshore Pirate. You met him from Darrell Vienna's stable, the son of Pirate's Bounty, claimed for $30,000 by Vienna. He's not raced in 2 months and is second in the El Camino Real Derby. David Flores is the jockey. The 3 horse, this is of course the son of Risen Star, O-Star, second in the Risen Star division. His singing owner Ronnie Lamarck has a song ready for him if he gets to the winner's circle today. Eddie Martin Jr., a New Orleans bred rider, is the rider today. The 4 horse is Apprentice from Billy Badgett's barn with blinkers on for the first time. Highly regarded, has had excuses in finishing second in his last 2 stakes events. Craig Perrette, the 1990 Eclipse champion jockey, another native of Louisiana, has the assignment. The 5 horses Dixieland Heat without an outrider. Randy Romero is the rider in the $77,000 Keeneland sale purchase. The son of Dixieland Band, a perfect 4 for 4. He is the favorite, won the Risen Star by 3 1/4 lengths. Today we check his off-track form. The 6 horse is Toss of the Coin, $37,000 Keeneland sale purchase, in the money, 6 of 7 starts, and running for a new owner, Francis Jelks. Ray Bell saddling today. Hall of Fame rider Chris McCarron flew in from California to ride. He won the Louisiana Derby back in 1978. Number 7 is Classy Envoy, highest money earner in the field at more than $194,000. This New York vet just won the Rich Ocala Sales Beaters Championship Stakes. The 8 horse is Lord of the Bay from Charlie Whittingham's stable with Ronald Ardoin, the champion rider here at the fairgrounds. Lord of the Bay ran primarily on the grass. The 2-year-old won the Laurel Futurity, has a good off-track pedigree, be racing up near the leaders early. Again, Ron Ardoin, who's clinched the title, will have the ride. The 9 horse is Crafty Digger. Spanky Broussard's barn here. A speed horse, should love the off-track since he's by Crafty Prospector. He has also won a race going around 2 turns on this track that should help him. Bruce Poyadu is the rider. He's battling to hold on to second place in the current standings. The 10 horse is Rockamundo. Rockamundo is a $30,000 Keeneland purchase. This is his first start this year. He hasn't run since Breeders' Cup Day, October 31st. He ran in one of the stakes there. Been working well, though, here at the fairgrounds. And Shane Romero, who won the Louisiana Derby in '88 on Risen Star, is in the irons. Next is the 11 horse. This is Crafty, $51,000 Keeneland sale purchase. Another speed horse. Unfavorable outside post, though. Martin Pedroza from Panama, good rider and should handle this horse well. It's been, again, a speed horse. The 12 horse part of the field, Magisterial Tune, as they gallop off. A $3,000 Keeneland bargain, has already won more than $42,000 at Trouble in the Gate, leading to his 5th place finish in the Risen Star. E.J. Peridin, a veteran rider among the top 10 here, has the assignment. And as they gallop off, the other field horse in the pink silks there is Masters Windfall. Best effort, a strong third at Dixieland Heat and to Apprentice in the Lecomte at odds of 257-1. Billy Smith in the top 10 standings, who won 7 stakes in the last meeting. He is the fellow who won the race earlier here today. Classy Envoy galloped out of the parade earlier. Our 7 horse, the highest money earner in the field, this New York vet, and Bobby Walker Jr. will be the rider today. Well, that's our field for the 1993 Louisiana Derby. Earlier today, Bob Newmeyer had a chance to visit with a man who made a long flight to get here from California. Comes Hall of Fame trainer Chris McCarron to ride Toss of the Coin. Let's meet him now with Bob.
This is a pretty young-looking guy for a guy who won this race back in 1978, but he did win the Louisiana Derby with Aesop's Foibles. But today, it's Toss of the Coin. Chris McCarron in from the West Coast, and this 3-year-old as well. Assess your chances.
Well, I think the chances are excellent, Bob. He's trained well up to this race. He's run some very good races in California. Every race he's run just a little bit better. He's shown improvement throughout his career so far, and I'm looking for him to run big today.
Of course, we handicappers are trying to ferret out one 3-year-old from another, and I suppose that the jocks are as well. I mean, you've been on Prairie Bayou, I think, next week for Tom Bohannon. You've been riding Union City for D. Wayne Lucas. Who are we going to see you on Derby Day?
Well, I hope you're going to see me on the best horse, and I don't know at this point who that might be, but like you said, this is the time of year when we're going around the country as well as staying home, trying to find who the best colt might be for the first Saturday in May. Or maybe it's a filly this year. Who knows?
Right, and we talk about Eliza, and I guess there's a scenario. I mean, you rode Corby for Alan Paulson when Pat Valenzuela was out. If Mr. Paulson decides to go with both Eliza and Corby, I mean, could you be part of that scenario?
Well, I certainly hope so. I was very grateful to Mr. Paulson for letting me ride Corby the other day, and it's nice to get a foot in the door there because he's got some awful strong stock, and he could be loaded with 2 full barrels this year.
And you're busy at San Anita, I know, with a lot of things this time of year.
Yeah, that's for sure, especially tomorrow night. Right after the races, we've got a 6th annual softball game, Jockeys versus Celebrity, to benefit the Macbeth Fund. And Mrs. Virginia Kelly, the president's mom, the first mom of the United States, is going to be to throw in the ceremonious first pitch.
All right, so Chris McCarron, a busy guy in from the West Coast, and like a lot of the top riders in this country, jockeying for mounts for that big day on the first Saturday in May.
Well, I'd want to be out there to see that Macbeth softball game. I've never seen a ceremonious first pitch before. Should come from the first one. It'll be good. It's okay. I call Chris McCarron a trainer. He's a Hall of Fame jockey and a great one. And wish him well with that Macbeth fundraiser. Their big softball game coming up tomorrow.
Too many businesses today leave their customers up in the air. But Allstate is different. Your Allstate agent's job is to keep you secure for years to come. To stick by you so that you stay with Allstate for your car insurance and home insurance for years, for life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Come be a part of the tradition of excellence at Frank's Farms, Southland Division in Ocala, Florida. Frank's Farms makes available to the breeder with any budget the sire lines of Northern Dancer, Raisin Native, Nijinsky 2, Exclusive Native, Sovereign Dancer, and Mr. Prospector. The Southland Division's 1,000-acre farm features a complete facility for breeding, boarding, breaking, and training. Be a part of the tradition of one of America's leading thoroughbred owners, the multiple Eclipse Award-winning Frank's Farms, Southland Division in Ocala, Florida.
In just over a half hour, your family will disappear out the door. What do you fix for dinner?
Well, if you're ready to go when I am.
It's quick. It's easy.
Oh, I invited Bobby over.
It's beef.
Hey, Bobby, pull up a chair.
It's what's for dinner.
A starting gate in place at the 16th pole. It's 1 mile and a 16th. They're on a sloppy racetrack at the fairgrounds for the 68th Louisiana Derby. Let's give you the current odds now. Dry Bean at 10. Offshore Pirate at 7. O-Star at 9. The local horse getting some support. Apprentice at 7-2. There's the favorite. He has been since the start. Dixieland Heat, the undefeated Colts, 7-5. Toss of the Coin at 10. Cassie Envoy at 40. Lord of the Bay 16. Crafty Digger at 35. Rockamundo at 22. Crafty 25 in the field. Magisterial Tune, Masters Windfall at 60-1. Well, you know the favorite. It is Dixieland Heat, the undefeated one, but that's not the kind of value Bob Newmeyer looks for. Let's take a look at our Bud Long shot.
beauty of 12-horse fields in a racing event is you can maybe pick out a couple of long shots in a race and still get great value. And that's the case here today at the Louisiana Derby, because my Bud long shot happens to be Dry Bean. He's out of the Loblolly stable. He's #1 in the yellow and brown silks. Tom Bohannon is the trainer. He's won 3 in a row, including a division of the Risen Star here at the fairgrounds. He's ridden by Aaron Grider. He's up on the board at a juicy 10-1. He has speed. He has the rail, and I think he's in a good tactical position to perhaps click as the Bud long shot here at the fairgrounds. But my colleague Tom Durkin and I rarely agree on anything, so why should this race be any different, Tom?
Well, I'm getting a little greedier. I'd like a horse that's 25-1 right now, and his name is Rockamundo. Pretty cool name, by the way. And he appears to be the best closer in a speedy fielder. His lightly weight is getting in only at 112 pounds. The downside is that he hasn't started since last October, but that race on Breeders' Cup Day on the undercard was a pretty promising one. Great works, blinkers on today. Hey, why not? These buds are for you.
And there are the two Bud long shots. Dry Bean at 10-1, screen right and screen left at 24-1. There is Rockamundo. So that would be a very nice Bud long shot exact. And as they parade to the post, Bob Newmeyer joins me now. And Bob, a chance to talk some race strategy here. For a mile and a 16th, you can hear them groan at the post position draw here when they drew outside here.
That's right, Chris. The speed horses have drawn outside. The Lord of the Bays, the Crafties, the Crafty Diggers. They like the slop. I think we're going to see a hellacious pace this afternoon. So I think the main contenders that are inside, the Dry Beans, the Offshore Pirates, the Apprentices, they're going to sit maybe 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They'll be in the no-excuse positions. And, of course, Dixieland Heat is the closer. He's going to weave through all that traffic. So it's an interesting race. But I think you're going to see a lot of speed in here, and tactics and racing luck are going to play a part in this race.
Luck, of course. We mentioned a sloppy racetrack. That probably will have an effect as well. Well, Craig Perret, one of the outstanding riders nationally, returns home. And Bob Newmeyer had a chance to welcome him back earlier.
Well, when you're a New Orleans boy, you know, it's always nice to come for their biggest race. Get to see a lot of the people I haven't seen in years, and it's a good thrill.
It seems to me that there is an inordinate number of jockeys that grew up in this area. Any reasons why?
Well, I think it's because we start very young around here, fooling with the horses and that, and, you know, it's pretty much horse country around here, and most of the ones that have come out of here have done very well all around the country.
And your mount today, Apprentice, people are waiting for this horse to deliver the goods. He's had a couple of excuses his last 2 races. Is it put up or shut up time for Apprentice?
Well, you know, we're sure expecting a real big race from him. We hope to see it. He has an enormous amount of talent, and, you know, he's a light raced horse that just hadn't really put it together well. We added some blinkers today, and hopefully we can get him to focus on his race, and if he does, I'm sure we'll see a big race out of him.
Craig Perret on the 4-horse Apprentice. Of course, he won the Eclipse Award in 1990, but he won 57 stakes events to tie a national racing record. Here are the records. Stakes record when it was run at this mile and a 16th distance just starting a few years ago. Risen Star, the fastest at that distance, 1:43.1 in the Louisiana Derby. The track record at a mile and a 16th at 1:42.2 goes back to 1977. Soy numero uno. There you see on the outside the 12-horse Magisterial Tune as they load him up, Bob.
Again, I think the horse to keep your eyes on here is Apprentice. He's highly talented. He should get a good trip from Craig Perret. He's out of the Green Tree stable. They've won this race 3 times. Johnny Appleseed, Prince Valiant, and Wood Chopper. Should be a good race. Let's go up to Tom Durkin.
Well, the speed horses here, Crafty breaks from post 13, Crafty Digger post 11, and Lord of the Bay post 10. They're all on the outside. Tactical speed, Dry Bean toward the rail, and O-Star, and some tactical speed from Offshore Pirate as well. And just off the pace, Apprentice, who usually rates just a few lengths off the pace, but the addition of blinkers today might put him a little bit closer than he usually runs. The final 2 horses moving in there, Rockamundo, and to his outside is Crafty, not to be confused, hopefully, with Crafty Digger. 13 going into the gate. Again, a pretty short run into that first turn here at the fairgrounds in the Louisiana Derby. And they are off. And toward the inside, Dry Bean breaks very well, like a rocket from the outside. There goes Crafty, and he clears the field with a brilliant burst of early speed. It's Crafty in front and a crush of horses in behind. Dry Bean's trying to come off the rail. Off Offshore Pirate is right there running third in between horses. O-Star is up close to the pace running in fourth. Crafty Digger with an aggressive 4-wide early move, and he's coming up after Crafty like a rocket. He's gone to the lead. Farther back, racing in sixth position there on the outside is Lord of the Bay. And then it's 2 lengths. Dixieland Heat is down inside. Apprentice is alongside him. Those two are now about 8 or 9 lengths from the lead. And then farther back, it's Magisterial Tune in between horses. Classy Envoy toward the inside. On the far outside, it's a toss of the coin. And in behind that group, Rockamundo is rating now. And farther back is the trailer Masters Pinfall. The quarter went in 23 and 2 and a hard half mile here in 46 and 3/5 seconds. And the leader into the far turn is Crafty Digger, now leading by 2 lengths. And running in second is still running into second is Crafty now. And on the outside, Offshore Pilot is now running in third position. Dry Bean, he's working hard. He's about 4 lengths from the lead. Dixieland Heat is trying to move through an opening toward the inside. O-Star is still running in 7th position. And Apprentice has made no impression yet. He's still running in 8th as the field now moves toward the top of the stretch. It's Crafty Digger still turning for home with the lead. Crafty is still in there with the chance. He's battling away. Dixieland Heat is trying to come through toward the inside now. Offshore Pirate right there. He's in with the chance with the furlong to run. Dixieland Heat is in very tight in behind Crafty Digger right there toward the inside. Offshore Pilot. Apprentice is coming late now with a strong late run on the outside. And toss of the coin is also right there. Wild finish. Dixieland Heat has come through on the inside to win the Louisiana Derby. He wins by 3 from Offshore Pilot. Toss of the coin was third. Apprentice finished 4th. And Randy Romero and the local crowd here is roaring its approval. Wins it with his brother's horse. The time was 1:44 and 4.
The first win in the Louisiana Derby for the Louisiana kid, Randy Romero, winner of 3 Breeders' Cup races. He's now won his home state Derby, winning on Dixieland Heat, who now is a perfect 5 for 5. The son of Dixieland Band, a $77,000 Keeneland sale purchase. Bob came roaring up the rail there under Randy Romero. Let's watch for the 5-horse Dixieland Heat, still perfect.
We use the expression sitting chilly for a rider, and it applies here. On the rail in the red and turquoise is Dixieland Heat with rider Randy Romero. He's going to wait because he's not sure exactly what Crafty Digger is going to do in front of him. You see how he's squeezed in towards that fence. He's still whipping left-handed. A very tight hole for Romero to use that left-handed stick. He can't go to the right hand. He has no room. Now he draws clear to win his 5th straight race. An impressive one for Dixieland Heat. He drew away from such horses as Apprentice, who loomed boldly. Toss of the coin, who made a 4-wide sweep. Not good enough. Dixieland Heat is 5 for 5, and we've got a Kentucky Derby candidate here in this colt who's unbeaten now, Chris Lincoln.
And Bob had answered all the questions today. He answered another one. How would he handle it off track? Just fine, thank you. Dixieland Heat, the undefeated one, and our unofficial winner.
Martin Giles here. TCI has a new pay-per-view service called Movies on Call that gives you blockbuster hits like these right in your living room without all the hassles of renting a tape. But to get pay-per-view, you'll need an addressable converter. So take your old one and remote to your local TCI office, and they'll give you the new converter and 3 free movie coupons. Or call, and TCI will deliver a converter and 1 movie coupon to your home free. And there's no charge for the converter as long as you want to use pay-per-view. Hurry! This great deal is available for a limited time only.
If you're shopping for a truck, there's only one place in town where you can see America's top-selling trucks all together in one place. It's a giant McCain Truck Center, 5151 Liberty Avenue. See hundreds of trucks, all priced from factory invoice. Ford, GMC, and Isuzu. Rangers, Broncos, Jimmys, Amigos, Suburbans, Troopers, Rodeos, vans, conversion vans, 2- and 4-wheel drive. New pickups from $78.93. Finance from 5.9%. Monthly payments from $179. And remember, bring us your best deal and we'll beat it at McCain.
1993 season, 62 days of the best in thoroughbred racing. The quality of racing that last year showcased Preakness winner Pine Bluff and Kentucky Derby winner Little E.T. as they dueled in the stretch of the Arkansas Derby. A record purse distribution of more than $12.4 million with a 24-race stakes schedule brings the best horses to Oaklawn. Join us through April 17th in Hot Springs, Arkansas. At Oaklawn, you can be winning with flying colors.
Vision. Power, oversight, distance, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Some of the New Orleans fans just yelled on, turn up the heat. Dixieland heat they're talking about as Randy Romero just gets off this colt that is the unofficial winner of our 1993 Louisiana Derby. The time 1:44.4, mile and a 16th over a sloppy racetrack. Offshore Pirate coming from California, Darrell Vienna stable, ran a very credible second. And Toss of the Coin, who we thought might be overlooked a bit. That's the one, of course, that Chris McCarron came in to ride. He finished unofficially in the show spot for third. But a big effort and an outstanding ride by Randy Romero. You mentioned he's had such success nationally. It all started here in Louisiana. He's the Louisiana guy, and he comes back to win his Derby, and Bob Newmeyer is going to talk with him now. Bob?
Okay, Bob. All right, thank you very much, Chris Lincoln. You'd have thought the Saints had just won the Super Bowl. There's a happy celebration here and a big local story and a brother act to boot. So we've got a lot of human interest in this story. Randy Romero, the jockey. The trainer is Gerald Romero. And first of all, Randy, boy, it was a little bit tight down there on the inside for you. Did you ever think it was going to open up for you?
Well, I just was hoping it was going to open up. It did, you know. I had enough horse to get in there. When I did get in there, it kind of closed. And I had the horse, you know, my horse fought in for a horse just only run 4 times to stay in the way he did. He's awesome.
You've been a tough luck rider over the years, Randy. Gerald, how did you come about to getting your brother here? Was this a tough sell to sell him on this colt?
Not on this one, I don't believe. He kind of asked me to ride this one.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And Randy, we're going to see the replay now, and we're going to take you through this perilous journey down the rail. In front of you, I know, is Crafty Digger, the speed horse, who loved the slop. Looked like he'd never give up on that speed.
Damn right. He held in bigger than I expected. But right here, my horse, I really had nowhere to run. I was right on top of the fence, and I had to get after him. And as soon as I got him clear, running a little bit, he got really into the race. I had, you know, and then right here he got to running. And I had enough horse to get, I was in there, and he got a little tighter and tighter. He got a little intimidated down the inside. It was real tight, and he had to make a hole, you know, but the horse fought game. I think horse did a real good job today.
And now you're home free because you're clear, and you've got about 2 lengths, and you're drawing away here, Randy, and you've got a legitimate shot now to go on with this 3-year-old.
Yeah, we'll be my brother together, and it'll be great. I want to tell my brother from Kentucky, Ed, hi, and I want to tell my brother, Kenneth, hi.
How many are there in this family?
We're 5 brothers.
5 brothers. It's a Romero celebration here in New Orleans. Let's go back to Chris Lincoln.
All right, Bob, and they're headed for Kentucky, this Romero team, and this colt, Dixieland Heat. They said next will be the Bluegrass Stakes. That's their plan, and then after that, maybe the Romeros will be heading to the spires of Louisville, Churchill Downs, and this year's Kentucky Derby.
King of beers.
What kind of horse runs at Turfway Park? Horses like Winning Colors, one of only 3 fillies to ever win the Kentucky Derby. Hansel, who won the Jim Beam Stakes out here, before going on to win both the Preakness and the Belmont. Alishiva won his first race at Turfway, then went on to win more money than any other horse in history. The racing just keeps getting better and better. And the better the horses out there, easier it is to pick a winner. Right here.
Nominations for all other stakes on Jim Beam Day close Wednesday, March 17th.
All over America, a new idea is taking root. It doesn't make sense to pay the price of other luxury hotels when you can get all the same great things at a DoubleTree and still be everywhere you want to be. DoubleTree Hotels. It's a smart call.
Vision, power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Make plans to attend Keeneland's 2-year-old and training sale April 13th and 14th. More than 150 horses will be sold, including 19 2-year-olds from the Francis Ginter Stable Dispersal. Stormbird, 49er, Deputy Minister, Fabiano are just some of the outstanding sires represented at the 2-day sale, held during Keeneland's exciting spring meeting.
Is stopped at the fairgrounds. It's still gray and cloudy, but it somehow seems a little warmer as Dixieland Heat scorched the course here, coming on the inside to win the Louisiana Derby. It's official, 1:44 for the time, and there's the return. 483, 20, and 260. He was the race favorite. How about that? A favorite wins a Derby prep race. Offshore Pirate running second from California, and Toss the Coin, another shipper from the West Coast, also running third. There's the exacta $48.30. Tom Durkin's going to take another look at this Louisiana Derby.
Well, right out of the starting gate, it was a wild race. Number 11, Crafty, he's going to come out of here like a bullet. Martin Pedrosa absolutely intent on the lead, and he's got the horse that can get him there with Crafty. They get to the lead, and then a little bit later on, by the time they hit the backstretch, Crafty Digger with a wide move going up toward the lead. He's there on the outside. He gets bumped a little bit by Lord of the Bay. He's 5 wide now. Those two hook up in a suicidal do down the backstretch. They couldn't get home after 46 and 3. In the meantime, our eventual winner, Dixieland Heat, Randy Romero, glided him over to the inside. He's now on the rail, about 8 lengths from the lead, and he's going to be on the rail, and I mean on the rail. I think this horse probably could have won by 3 or 4 more lengths. You can see him pull up a little bit. He's shy. He's only making his 5th career start here. He's got plenty of room to improve, and now, again, just can't quite get through there. Not a completely experienced horse. Once he gets that room, though, so long. Hasta la vista. Great sidebar story here. They made a movie about the Romero family called Casey's Shadows, starring Walter Matthau. You think if Romero wins this with his brother on the comeback trail, that Hollywood will be calling? You bet.
Oh, I think they'd love it. There you see Randy Romero now waiting for some of the presentations to be made by the Krantz family this Louisiana Derby. Leland Cook, the owner of Dixieland Heat, Gio Romero, the trainer, Randy the rider.
Vision. Power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, Cane Cobra oversized boards, and now oversized irons.
It's New Orleans tradition, good food and fun.
We're going to the races, everybody come on.
To the New Orleans Fairgrounds, it's the winning place to be.
Come pass a good time with your family and friends. The party never ends.
Hey, y'all gotta come, you hear?
The New Orleans Fairgrounds.
And all that jazz.
When they're off, are you in the money? You are when you read the Daily Racing Form, the authority since 1894. Only the form gives you the most accurate and complete past performances, speed figures from Andy Beyer, the latest workouts, jockey trainer records, dirt, grass, and off-track career boxes, and the insight and opinions of some of racing's best riders and handicappers. So don't get left at the gate. Pick up the Daily Racing Form, the paper to read when you're playing to win.
Experience Southern hospitality at its finest. The Howard Johnson Hotel and Conference Center, New Orleans. Surround yourself with all New Orleans has to offer. Only 6 miles from the famous French Quarter, the elegant Garden District, the Superdome, the New Orleans Convention Center, and the New Orleans International Airport. The Howard Johnson Hotel and Conference Center, New Orleans. The perfect place for business or pleasure. Call direct 1-504-833-8211 or 1-800-I-GO-HOJO.
The winning blanket of orchids in this run for the orchids, the 68th running of the Louisiana Derby, goes over the withers of Dixieland Heat. Randy Romero up, the jockey, the trainer Joe Romero, and Leland Cook is the owner. He is the gentleman with the cowboy hat and the big smile because his colt is 5 for 5, the $180,000 first place. Now it means he's won more than $230,000. Dixieland Band is the sire. Evening Silk, a Damascus mare, was the dam. $77,000 Keeneland sale purchase. There's another Keeneland bargain for you. As a favorite, wins a Derby prep. Dixieland Heat went off as the favorite and came up the rail with Randy Romero to win this 1993 running of the Louisiana Derby. Next for him, they say, the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland. And next for us, as we continue on the road to the Triple Crown, we're looking for the Jim Beam Stakes, the richest of all the Derby preps, $600,000 purse. The Jim Beam, of course, produced last year's Kentucky Derby winner, Lil E.T. And next on ESPN, the NCAA Tournament Special, 64 to the Sweet 16. All the highlights of the ongoing tournament. Chris Fowler and Dick Vitale standing by next on ESPN's NCAA Tournament Special. The 1993 Louisiana Derby from the fairgrounds in New Orleans has been brought to you by Budweiser. Nothing beats the excitement of horse racing, and nothing beats a Bud. By Keeneland, source of the classic horse. King Cobra, the king of oversized irons and woods. Oversized confidence, oversized power. And by the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, assuring the highest racing standards. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4-CARS. Charts and statistics courtesy of the Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications. And the 68th running of the Louisiana Derby from the fairgrounds has been won by the local favorite, Dixieland Heat, and the local favorite jockey, Louisiana's own Randy Romero, as he looks ahead on the Triple Crown Trail with Dixieland Heat.